Hello students, welcome back. We were studying circulatory system in human beings, or you can say animals, and we studied two parts of circulatory system, that is blood vessels and the types of blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. Then we studied about heart, the structure of heart and the circulation of blood in heart. Now let us see further. So students, there were three parts of circulatory system, that is blood vessels, heart and blood. We studied about blood vessels and heart. Now we are going to study about blood. Here in the diagram you can see the blood coming out of a blood vessel, that is arteries or vein. Both are carrying blood, right? Arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood. You are already knowing. So here you can see that the blood which is coming out of the blood vessel consists of different components. That is, white blood cells are there, plasma is there, platelets are there and red blood cells are there. So these are the four components of the blood. White blood cells, that is WBC, plasma, platelets and red blood cells, that is RBC. So let us see what are the functions of these components. First of all, what is blood? Students, you have already studied in 9th standard. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. And what is it made up of? It is made up of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. So these are the components of the blood. Let us see the function of the plasma. Plasma is a yellow liquid made up of water. It is like a river for the blood cells to float. So blood cells are floating in a yellow colored liquid which is made up of water and it is called plasma. Next is red blood cells, RBC. They carry oxygen from the air to all the parts of the body. You have already studied, right, that hemoglobin carries oxygen to all the parts of the body from lungs. Next is white blood cells, WBC. They are the soldiers of our body. They fight against the germs and protect our body from diseases. Next is platelets. They allow our blood to clot around a cut. Whenever any wound is there in your body, you can see that for some time blood will come out and after that it will stop and clot is formed. This is done by the platelets. So students, let us see blood vascular system, that is blood. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that circulates in a closed system of blood vessels. Blood consists of liquid fluid, that is plasma, solid, that is red blood cells, white blood cells and the platelets. So the liquid part of blood is plasma and the solid cells in it are RBC and WBC along with blood platelets. Adults have 5 to 6 liters of blood. First of all, plasma. Plasma is a straw colored liquid with 92% of water. It transports food, carbon dioxide and nitrogenous waste. Next is blood corpuscles, RBC, red blood cells. They have an iron containing respiratory pigment which is hemoglobin, which helps to transport oxygen. You have already studied this. WBC, white blood cells. They inject and destroy bacteria. Ingest means fight and destroy bacteria and prevent the body from infection and diseases. Platelets, they help in clotting of blood. These are the functions of the blood. First, transport of respiratory gases. Oxygen is carried by hemoglobin to cells. Carbon dioxide from the tissues dissolve in plasma and are carried to lungs. Next is transport of nutrients. Digested food is absorbed into the blood in small intestine. Third, transport of waste products like urea, uric acid are carried to kidney. Fourth, defense against infection. WBC digests and engulf bacteria. Blood produces antibodies against specific bacteria and viruses, that is called immunity. So students, blood, it is involved in transport of respiratory gases, transport of nutrients, transport of waste products, and along with this it also acts like a soldier to protect our body. So now you are very much clear how much blood is important in our body. Circulation in our body consists of two types of systems. First, blood circulatory system and second, lymphatic system. We studied blood circulatory system in detail in the last lecture and in this lecture also. Now we are going to study about lymphatic system. First of all, what is lymph? Through the pores present in the walls of capillaries, some amount of plasma, proteins and blood cells escape into intercellular space and they form lymph. Lymph are colorless and they have less proteins. In our body, there is a system for the removal of unwanted toxins, waste and excess water. And this system is a lymphatic system. Like blood flows through blood vessels, lymph, which is a colorless liquid, flows through the lymphatic vessels. The functions of this system are, first one, they fight against the infections. How? They contain white blood cells, that is WBC, are also known as lymphocytes. You know what is the function of WBC? Yes, they act as soldiers and protects our body. Second function of lymphatic system is they act as one-way drainage system, collecting waste from the tissues and passing it to blood vessel. Now let us say lymphatic system. When blood circulates in our body, plasma escapes from the blood vessel and reaches to the cells, delivering it fluid, hormones and oxygen, and hence it becomes a tissue fluid. You know, tissues are the group of cells only. So now this blood gets surrounded to the tissues of our body and it collects waste products, excess water and toxins from these tissues, that is intestinal fluids. 90% of this fluid passes back to the blood and approximately 10% is left behind and that is called lymph. So a system is required for passing of this lymph and it is called a lymphatic system. It contains lymphatic nodes present all over our body for the passage of the lymph. Lymph vessels are there in this system which act as one-way valves to stop the backward flow of lymph. In these lymph nodes, white blood cells are there which fight against the germs and protects our body. So students, I hope you have understood now what is lymphatic system. So now lymphatic system. Lymphatic system comprises of lymph, lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessels and lymphatic nodes. Blood containing oxygen flow under pressure in arteries. When it enters the capillaries, some fluid is forced out of the capillary walls into the space between the surrounding cells. This is a tissue fluid. If it accumulates in the tissue and organ, it would cause swelling. That is, it is necessary to remove it. And this fluid returns to the blood stream through lymphatic system. Lymph. It is a colorless fluid which is a part of blood plasma except it has less protein. No RBCs are there. It has WBCs, less oxygen but large number of carbon dioxide and metabolic waste. It flows in one direction from tissue to heart. Lymph vessels. They are thin walled and resembles veil. Valves are present so lymph flows in one direction. Lymph move due to contraction of walls of lymph vessels. So students, now you know how transport of substances takes place in human body. Now let us see how transport of substances takes place in plants. In plants also there are two processes through which this takes place. First process is called ascent of sap, which deals with the movement of water and minerals from roots to all the parts of the body. And second one is translocation, which leads the movement of food materials produced in leaves to all the parts of the body. So ascent of sap deals with the upward movement of substances and translocation deals with the downward movement of substances. And you have already studied in 9th standard that the transport of water and mineral is done by xylem and transport of food is done by phloem. So let us see how it takes place. Let us see first process, that is ascent of sap, which deals with the transport of water and minerals from roots to different parts of the plant, that is upward movement of substances, and you know that it is done by xylem tissue. It is done by two processes. First is transpiration. First of all, students, keep in mind what is transpiration. It is a loss of water from the surface of the leaves in the form of water vapor. During the process of transpiration, when this water molecule starts leaving the surface of the leaves in the form of water vapor, they create a pull in the system that pulls the water upward, and this pull is known as transpirational pull. How this pull is created? When water starts escaping, so a gap is created and water molecules from downward comes upward. When you are sucking water with the help of straw, how it takes place? Similarly, same way it takes place, but it is not as strong as straw. Flow is little bit less. You can say pull is not that much strong, but it is enough to take water molecules upward. And second one is by root pressure. When we are giving water to the plants, we give water to the roots. So what will happen? Diffusion will be created and water molecule enters up due to the push of the water molecule which has just entered the root. You know what is diffusion, right? So, by transpiration and by root pressure, the water molecules and minerals go from root to different parts of the plant, and this is ascent of sap. Now let us see what is translocation. It is the process of transport of food materials from leaves to different parts of the plants. Here leaves are called sources and flowers, stems, roots to which this food is transported are called sinks. You can see in the diagram. And this is done by phloem. Like transpirational pull, any type of pull is not there for transport of this materials from leaf to different parts. So it is done by active transport. Let us see how it is done. First of all, food is produced in the leaves during the process of photosynthesis with the help of sunlight. Now what leaves will do? Leaves will lose their energy, that is ATP, and they will transport this food to nearby phloem tissue. So it is called active transport, that is the transport of substance in and out of the cell by using energy. And then these substances are transported through phloem tissue to different parts of the plants. So students understood how transportation takes place in plants. So transport of materials in plants. Plants have specialized conducting tissues. First one, xylem, to transport water and dissolved minerals upward from roots to different parts of the plant, and second, phloem, to distribute food prepared by leaves to different parts of the plant. Transport of water and materials. First of all, we will see this. Xylem tissue is made up of 4 kind of cells, that is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Tracheids and vessels are the main conducting cells. Both are non-living and they have thick lignified walls. You have already studied about xylem tissue in 9th standard. Tracheids, they are elongated, comparatively thin cells with tapering ends. They have thick lignified walls with pits along the thick walls. Water travels from the pits from one tracheid to another. Next is vessels. They are elongated tube-like structures placed at the end, have thick lignified walls with pits. They are made up of dead cells. They have open end walls, so water moves from one vessel to another. How absorption and upward movement of water and minerals take place. Water and dissolved minerals is taken up by plants through root hairs. The root cells are in direct contact with the soil and actively take up ions. This creates a difference in concentration of these ions between the roots and the soil. Water now moves in to remove this difference to xylem of root. From here it moves up through xylem tissue in the stem and reaches to leaves, that is root pressure, and because of diffusion it occurs. Next is transpirational pull. Transpiration is the evaporation of water from surface of leaves through stomata. As water is lost from the leaves due to evaporation, water is taken up by the roots due to transpirational pull. More transpiration leads to more water uptake. Next is transport of food and other substances. Leaves are the main organs of photosynthesis. Food prepared has to be transported to various parts of the plant, and this movement of food is called translocation. Phloem translocates the food. Movement of food prepared in leaves occur through plant in various directions, that is from source to where they are used and stored. With the help of this diagram, you will be able to understand the transport of substances in plants very clearly. Here blue arrows are showing the transport of water and minerals, and green arrows are showing the transport of food. So students, in this lecture we studied transportation of substances in plants, and along with this we also studied a part of circulatory system, that is blood, in detail. So with this we end our lecture. And with this we have completed another life process, that is transportation, or you can say circulation. We will continue with the next process in next lecture.